arrive to this present moment, no matter how busy we were before, no matter how tired we were. Let's really just find our spot and just kind of marvel at the incredibleness of this present moment. We get so busy, and the moments sometimes seem to run together, but the moment we pause, we realize that we truly are here and now. So just think how amazing that is, this opportunity, this reminder, this reset. And as you're beginning to settle, and your eyes have closed to let go of those distractions, bring your focus internally and just notice your breath, notice your heartbeat, notice the energy that you can feel moving. Some of us, our energy is moving really fast and really busy. Some of us, the energy started to slow, just depending on what you were doing right before this moment. But I would invite you just notice. Just check in. Then let's see if we can bring ourselves collectively into this moment. So just take a slow, deep breath in together. And just as slowly, exhale, let it go. A slow, deep breath in. And just as slowly, release it out. One more together, breathing in. And breathing out. And then let's check in again. See if anything has shifted. See just how it feels. The heartbeat, the breath, the energy. Sometimes this shift is really big and noticeable, and sometimes it is so very subtle. But just pay attention right here, this moment. So we've been on this exploration through the Pancha Mahabhutas, the 5 elements. We've relied on the element of earth to give us grounding and stability, but also to remind us that we can't get stuck. We've sat with the element of water, jala, as this example of movement and flow, really beginning to transform each thing that it touches. Then we sat with the element of tejas, fire, and really begin to think about this concept that can be so destructive in our eyes as we look out. But when we look with different eyes, that same element can be so purifying. So much of an investment to growth and development. And so that brings us to the 4th element, VAYU, the element of air. It's not something that we take for granted. We learned just years ago in the middle of this pandemic the importance of the air around us and the air within us. And many of us learned or were reminded of how important this element is to our life, to our stamina, to our health. And so I would invite you, just as you are wherever you are in your home, wherever you've paused, start to notice the air, the sensation around you. If the air conditioning is on, maybe you feel it. There's a little cool breeze coming. If the fan is going above your head or over the side, notice that. See if you can feel it on your skin, the part that's not covered with clothes. Just notice. And then notice the air, VAYU, that's coming in as you breathe in. Notice as it kind of tickles the tip of your nose. Notice how it expands the diaphragm, how the ribs just move. And then notice the air as it goes through you and from you as you exhale. Maybe it goes across the nose again, maybe it's across the lips, but just feel it. Air is everywhere. If you are ever in a spot where it's really, really hot and the room or the place where you are is really stuffy and warm, the second that you encounter a cool air, it's almost magical. It's this freshness, this renewal that you feel just from the air. If you've ever been underwater for just a little bit too long and all of a sudden you come up and you gasp and you take that next inhale, you realize the gift of air. If you suffered at any point during the time that we all experienced this pandemic through this virus of COVID, and you struggled to breathe, you understand intimately what a gift this air is. If you've ever been in a city where there's a lot of cars and a lot of exhaust and you can see the pollution in front of your eyes, it's almost as you breathe in, you feel the toxic nature of that air. But if you've ever been outside right after someone's just mowed their grass and you take in that sensation of air, you can just feel the freshness as the air travels across your nose and into your lungs. Air is everywhere. And so what I'd like us to do is just really honor this element. It is an element that in an instant can have impact. Just imagine that moment when you were underwater, the instant your mouth and your nose come to the surface, things change. You can breathe again. If you've ever been running too fast and you feel like you're just winded, the minute you pause and you bring your head down just a little bit toward the heart and you breathe in, things shift immediately. As we sat with the element of water, we knew that it takes time. Water has an impact, but it takes time. Air is instant. So I'd like us just to sit and notice and breathe and really just marvel at the engineering of who we are as these human beings. The way that this beautiful breath comes in through our nose, across the tip, the bridge, and it fills us up in a way that we pull every nutrient that we need from that one breath, so that as we exhale, we let go of the parts that we don't need. And then those parts are breathed in by the trees. They take in what they need. Breathe out the rest. And so it goes. Just think about that. Don't let it be something that we just take for granted, that breath is this involuntary action. Marvel at what a miracle it is. And so I would invite you, if it feels right, just bring one hand to heart center and then put the other hand on your belly. Just find you a comfortable spot. And just take a deep breath in and notice the hands gently beginning to move. And then as you exhale, notice the hands moving in the opposite way. Breathe in and notice. Breathe out and notice. Just a couple more times like that. Expansion, release. Expansion, release. And then just allow your hands to come to rest. And we're going to meditate with our breath. And I would encourage you to find a spot within you to focus on. For some of you, it'll be where that hand was at the chest area. You'll notice how the top of your ribs just moves. That's where you're going to focus. For some of you, to be deep down, closer to your belly, underneath the ribs as your diaphragm just begins to move. And for others, it'll be right across the tip of your nose. You'll feel that breath. And what I'd like us to do is we're going to sit in the quiet. And I'll kind of remind us just every so often to focus on the breath. The tip of the nose, the top of the chest by the heart, or down there by your diaphragm, by your belly. You pick a spot. And let's practice noticing, cultivating true awareness of the gift that VAYU, air, is. And you may find that your attention gets a little distracted. You hear noise in the house, you adjust your body, and you forget where you were paying attention. Just come back. The tip of the nose, the heart center, or down there closer to the belly. Just pick one spot. And let's practice noticing. Breathing in, I notice the breath coming in. Breathing out, I notice it going out. Breathing in, I notice. Breathing out, I notice. Just continue. Full awareness of the breath. Breathing in, I notice. Breathing out, I notice. Breathing in, I notice. Breathing out, I notice. Just continue here, watching the breath, feeling it, noticing it. Breathing in, I notice my breath coming in. Breathing out, I notice my breath going out. And just continue with the breath coming in and coming out. And again, just stay with that spot. I could almost just feel the tickle at the tip of my nose, and all of my attention was there. And the minute my mind got distracted, I lost the sensation of the tickle. And it reminded me to come back. So wherever you were paying attention, at heart center, deep down into your belly, let's take a couple more rounds. Pure awareness. Each element exists around us. We see the element of earth all around us. We feel it under our feet, under the spot where we sit. We see it in the solidity of the mountains. We see the impact of water as our flowers in our garden grows and as canyons are created across the landscape. We see the element of fire. Maybe at one point it looks like destruction, and then all of a sudden we realize it's a chance for new growth. And all of those take just a split second of focused attention, taking our awareness and noticing something. But VAYU, air, that element is a little different. It's a little special because it is with us all the time. It's what keeps us alive, able to notice all of the others. And again, I know across the last few years, our world has realized the gift of breath, but my fear is that the further we get from this pandemic, the more we'll start to forget how precious it is again. So I encourage you, pause throughout your day and just be aware of the breath. There's an entire group of practicing Buddhists who all they do is do breath awareness. That's their whole practice. Every moment they sit and they study and they pay attention, it's the breath. I think that gives us a message that there must be something there. The impact of our breath is immediate, and so imagine our focus on it, how immediate that will be for cultivating wisdom and understanding and lessening the impact of the distractions that try so very hard to get our attention. We have these apps on our phones and on our watches that remind us of so many things. Maybe there's a reminder you can set for yourself that just says, okay, it's time. Nothing else, just the breath. It gets my full attention, almost as a way of reverence for the gift of life that it gives me. Next time you look at the trees, just stand up and breathe in, thanking that tree for what it's given you. And then breathe out and feel the gratitude coming from the tree as well. Air. VAYU. It's not just an involuntary reflex of oxygen and gas exchange. It truly is the gift of our life. Let's give it a little more awareness and see how that can change your cultivation of awareness, of wisdom, and of gratitude for this precious life that we get to live. Namaste.